Hi, Miss
I
Ciancia,
miss there.
and everyone else who's watching.
Yay.
This is our 6th blog, and we're going to talk about the interviews we had with our parents and a middle schooler.
Yeah.
Well, any family member, but we both chose our mom.
Yeah. As far as middle school goes, I interviewed my sister, and she was really grumpy at breakfast because it was early. But she said, basically, I explained our project. We explained our project, and she understood it, so that was great. I think we did a good job of
Or
explaining
she
it.
pretended she understood it.
Yeah.
Either way.
Faked the whole thing. But so we did good as far as making sure that we explained it in universal, understandable terms. And then some of the feedback she had was, one, that old people are depressing. Two, that you need to be careful. We should be careful when we're teaching to watch out for the grumpy elderly.
She wants us to pick the nice people to teach it to, so it would make our job easier.
Yeah. So that there's the grumpy elderly and the nice elderly, and if you teach the grumpy, then we're gonna have a lot of issues with patience.
That's her advice.
Yeah, that's in her words. That's her advice. And she also said that it's not useful to teach Skype unless the families of our users use Skype, because otherwise, who are they gonna talk to? Just like.
And this is also applicable to any other application.
Anything.
Yeah.
She thought that elderly people use cell phones, but that they don't use email, and they don't even know what Skype is. So we'll see how relatable that is. We're working on our little survey to pass out.
And we're going to go visit Sequoias soon.
Yeah.
And an Apple Genius.
Yes.
We're going to Mountain View?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Or Stanford Mall, either one.
Sure.
And also, so I talked to my mom, and I talked to her before we started the blogs, but I talked to her again recently. But initially, her idea was to use iPads because she has a lot of difficulty with online applications too, so she thinks like what we're doing is really helpful, but she likes using the iPad more because it's easier to use and it's more portable, and she likes clicking, touching the screen instead of just typing, but we couldn't get that to happen, so
because Apple sucks. I mean, no, they don't suck. They don't suck unless Apple's watching us through the screen. They're just they're not coming after you. I think they have a lot of mail coming in to them, and they can't respond to everyone. And unfortunately, we didn't get a reply from them.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Which sucks.
I talked to her recently. I told her about how we're doing with the progress. I talked to her about how we're going to make a curriculum, and she thinks it's really good, but she wants us to write out their curriculum so that it's useful for not just us, but we could hire other people to teach it as well, and they'll use the same curriculum, or following up with our classes they can review. Also, she doesn't think it's really realistic to be able to teach everyone in our time span because she knows she had a lot of difficulty with it and she had to experiment a lot with our applications. So she thinks it's going to be tough for us to teach them, especially with, in her words, that old people are hard to teach because they don't automatically get what we're talking about, and sometimes they're kind of impatient. But other than that, she thinks that we're going to hear lots of interesting stories from the old people, and she wishes us luck.
Yeah. And I talked to my mom. Well, Millen was there too. And basically, she said that, she understands our project, of course. And she says that one of the things, in accordance with Millen's mother's feedback, that we have to make sure that we like write out the curriculum and make it available so that other people can use it, so that wherever they are at the senior center or community center or library, that they have those materials there so that they can keep helping the elderly. Because I agree that it's infeasible to teach everyone everything in a really short amount of time, which we don't have. Like, we have 2 weeks, but that's not really.
And we can start now.
Well, yes. Well, of course we're starting, but it's just, it's, yes. And then her other thing was that the elder generation loses a lot of fine motor skills and like sharp eyesight, which when you're looking at the screen, I know like my grandma blows her screen up so it's like really huge, and the words, like the letters are like that big, and then it's weird. You can't use it. You have to like slide the thing over. Anyway, so that might be a challenge for us, is like the actual physical component of not being able to use technology very well. So, shouldn't really have any advice on how to fix that, but it was a concern that she raised when asked about why there's a gap, like a knowledge gap.
So basically, I think there's a lot of issues that we haven't thought about or considered, and we won't actually know until we actually start teaching. But it's good to consider about some things that we might run into. So it's good to get some feedback on that.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Until next time.
Yeah, bye.